We are here in Ireland and we are sniffing it. Smells good. Walking up to Hellfire Club as we speak. Going to feel the dark energy. Well, we'll see what's there. So, because I decided to take the road less traveled, yes, I'm sweating my ass off now. Still a little out of breath. I'm here at Hellfire alone. And I did just hear some strange sounds from, sound like from around the corner over here. It might just be the wind, but it sounds like dark, sinister, evil laughter.
Welcome to Hellfire. Is that what you're looking for?
Of course, everybody wants to know about all of the ritualistic practices that happen in here, and really it's all speculation. We don't know anything for sure. But the story goes that within this building, these different politicians and influential people would meet here. This was a hunting lodge, way atop the city. A lot longer to get here back in the day. But they would meet here and they would wheel and deal, convene, have these different ritualistic practices to seal those deals. Stories of animal sacrifice, human sacrifice, and I don't know about that. But as far as like the sexual rituals and things like that, those are said to have happened here as well. So like, some dark magic sort of things. All right, we're headed down the creepy dark. Oh my God, that is freaking dark. Holy shit.
Don't be afraid.
It's like, you weren't kidding. Actually, the Wookalars are gonna get us. Anybody remember what a Wookalar is?
No.
No, oh my gosh. We're still enjoying the path. And we have yet another amazing path to get lost down. If we don't make it back and somebody finds this phone, it means you hacked my password. What's up with that? No. Well, because then you'll find yourself in the fairy realm, and when you come back out, that is when you will find it to be 125 years later. And they'll be like, oh yeah, we heard of that group that got lost in the woods years ago. It was an urban legend. Okay, so behind me is the cross, and so basically the story behind it is it's erected here around 1st century AD. They found pieces of it scattered about the abbey. It was in 3 different pieces. They rescued them about the 1850s, restored the cross, put it back together like it is now, and just about 10-12 years ago added the roof. But there's a lot of interesting symbolism, of course, around the base, tied to Christianity and all that. Of course, you have the sun symbolism there at the top, which Christianity, bring the sun to Jesus. You see that symbolism in Mithraism, and then of course you have the sun disk in ancient Egypt. So that's totally fine. So they're going to the left? You're going to Eddie. All right, very successful test here with the dowsing rods. Every time anybody got close to the monument, which is made of granite with the rods, we got a reaction, which you should expect since it's made of 55% quartz. Okay, so I'm here at CARE Castle. Looks like it's spelled here. Sorry if I have not been recording today. Alright, so we had the keep, well tower, another keep. I don't remember the name of this building. But we're going up it. Oh, but in the staircase here, they're saying that they have at times seen the apparition of a woman, the whole woman in white story, up here. Do you see the woman in white? She's standing right there. So here in this room, you could have a total Scooby-Doo moment. Trap door. Oh, total trap door here. Like for a real one, yeah. So around the building, there are a couple cannonballs actually lodged into the side. One is inside, but there's, I can point my finger the right, and I can. It's right there. There we go. Cannonball. Okay, here at, well, there it is, Blarney Castle. There's a lot more here than we originally thought. Show up, there's a nice huge map of all kinds of things to check out. Okay, the story goes that this is an ancient druid circle, stone circle, and two of the king's sons had fallen in battle. So he ordered a contingent of his men to come out here. There were 9 standing stones, and he ordered them to knock them over. So now there's only 7 stones. They call them the 7 sisters now. Okay, just to give you guys a little perspective here, look how big that is, okay? This is me, full size. These things are huge. I haven't even gotten to the castle yet, and just, you got stuff like this. The gardens here in the grounds, absolutely amazing. You could really do a whole day here. We don't even have a couple hours, but we're gonna try to do our best here and see what is around. I haven't got to the castle yet. And here, as we walk into Blarney Castle, we have a historic gift shop. Because what would be a historic castle without one? It's down there. Pretty cool. So after the Blarney Stone, there's even more stuff to check out. So it's not just going up to the stone, you have to explore more. Day 3, we are starting at Charles Fort. So there's the story of the woman in white that is here. Tell a little bit more of that story along the way, but it's a beautiful fort by the sea. So we're actually walking onto the battlements, which she was explaining. So you have this exterior wall here. We have the earth in between, and the other wall there, and the earth acts as a shock absorber for cannon fire.
But they were digging some foundations outside of Charles Bastion there, and to build this container where people could practice firing guns inside in a closed space. And they found 2 skeletons, a male and a female skeleton. Now nobody knows why the skeletons are there, down there, but if they were suicides, like Wilful and her father would be, they wouldn't be allowed to be buried in a graveyard. So we wonder, is there more to the story than we know? So who knows, as I said.
Okay, up to the castle rooms we go. So it's we're not really sure of the pronunciation. Bel Nakariga. I don't know. That's kind of how I'm saying it. Well, it looks like Bali Nakariga. Yeah. In any case, there is a legend of a puka up here. spook is from the fairy realm, tricksterish in nature. So, find favor upon you, they'll do nice things for you. They do not find favor upon you, won't do nice things for you. It's kind of the nature of the trickster, right? Can we not go in?
That's pretty cool to actually see.
Yeah, I'll have to zoom in on that. There she is. Yep. That's her fertility?
Well,
Maybe?
she was saying the thing that she sent us was for lust. It was like lust in something. But I was told, because it was given to me when I was trying to get pregnant, it was for fertility.
We go off to Drombeg Stone Circle, up the hill. Eddie with the tour bus down there doing amazing things. So you can feel the energy on this one. Actually, they call them the portal stones. So on the winter solstice at sunset, when you look right through here, you see the setting sun. So originally, they believe, originally 17 stones, there's only 13 now. You can kind of hear, when you step into the middle of the circle, you can kind of hear a bit of an echo, which is interesting. And that's, you know, the resonance off the stone as you're projecting, but that would kind of enhance. So that's the stone circle. And as I just got done explaining to everybody with Drombeg, it's an axial circle. Originally, they believe 17 stones, only 13 now. You got the two portal stones at the front, come up to the axial stone, which a lot of circles in Ireland are axial, so that's to the southwest. And during the winter solstice, you look through the two portal stones to the axial stone, and then you see the setting sun. So it is a ritual site. They have found remnants of rituals from the past here. So they just don't know exactly what they did during the rituals. They kind of guess, they don't exactly know what they were for. Okay, so they're at Drombeg. So a couple of the interesting things. I mentioned the echo that was there. And so that's basically right when you stand right dead in the center of the circle, you hear, when you just talk, you hear the resonance coming back to you on the stones. Now, they believe there were originally 17 stones, and there's only 13 now. So 4 of the stones are actually missing. And of course, the stones are weathered down and they're smaller now than they used to be. So imagine this thing in its height and its glory, where you had all the stones and they were big and massive. The amount of resonance that would have been right within the middle of that circle. Now they're there doing rituals. They're doing their chants and things like that. And imagine the reverberation coming back to them off of those stones. We talk about entering into altered states of consciousness and things like that. I mean, they absolutely would have been happening right then and there. Whether they're using it for, we talk about sound healing, where you can, tune things to a certain pitch and actually heal people through sound. That is a legitimate thing. Or entering into altered states. People talk about the idea of opening up portals and stargates and things like that. That's also possible. And there is absolute evidence that there were rituals that were performed there at Drombeg. So I just can only imagine in its height and its glory how big those would have been. So one thing I also did try there, I had forgotten my rods, but Anne had hers, was the rods there in the middle of the circle. So basically what the rods ended up doing was, as I stood there in the middle of the circle, and if I can do this without smacking my microphone too much, when I stood there in the middle, they spun around like that. And yes, I'm manipulating here because I'm trying to show you. They spun around like that for a little bit. And then they just, boom, went straight out to the sides, which basically told me was, okay, it had detected an energy source all around and then deduced that it's coming from the outside. And keep that in mind because it happens again later. Here is everybody walking toward Templemichael castle, I guess is what they call it, castle and church. Which the castle itself dates back to 12th century. There's stories that it was used as a Templar stronghold. The church remains that are there date to 1823, but they're built on an older church site. This is pretty amazing. All right, so that's the church from 1823. Back there is the castle. All right, Templemichael Castle. Not much of it left. But yeah, 12th century is what it dates back to. And they say at one point it was a Templar stronghold.
You're coming, okay. You're about to come down this way.
Good find. I did not see this when I was out here earlier. This Rapunzel's tower?
Very short Rapunzel.
Keeps going and going.
It keeps going and going.
I want to try to get down that walkway and see the tower from down there. And there's Anne. You are now part of the video blog.
Hello.
Say hello to the Connected Universe portal.
Hello, everyone.
This is really cool, huh? This place just keeps going and going. So we found a little tower off to the side of there, which actually overlooks the water. This is some other side building, which has 2 chambers, plenty of cool windows that are all overgrown with ivy. Okay, St. DECLAN'S Monastery. Trying to catch a crow on a headstone. One of the members of the group, Vicky, already did, which is great. I caught him off the side of the church over there and one on the ground. Finally found a better angle for it, and then whoop, he flew away. So we'll get it, but you got the tower here, which is quite amazing. Very, quite a phallic symbol, of course. And you got the monastery back here, which we can venture inside. We'll go around the front here and see. But a lot of fantastic monuments and headstones. But it seems like this place was the inspiration for movies that have crows flying around through the cemeteries. So we'll catch another one here. St. DECLAN'S stone, which is what all the hubbub is about. So geologically different than other stones in the area, so that have healing properties. It's supposed to have washed up on shore, and this is where he was supposed to build his monastery, which they did up the hill. So this became the first Christian settlement in 5th century AD. Come here and touch the stone. Every July 24th is when they have the ceremony. All right, here we are at the old Cork jail from 1824 to 1923.
So it's not a residence, it was a jail open. It has been here since around the 90s, so it's been here for a while.
Guilty. Alright, just took the ferry to Spike Island. Okay, so way back in the day, before all of this was here, there was a monastery down here by the waterfront, overlooking the water, basically on top of that hill there where all those trees are, poof, right there. A bunch of monks just hanging out doing their monkly duties, right? But it was a wooden structure, very visible to many passersby. And, well, you know, the Vikings and the Normans came here a lot into Ireland, invaded a lot of territory, as they were doing in England as well. And so they come sailing up, it's a bunch of monks, boom, burned down the monastery that was there, because they found some scant remnants of it there. And they do have some documentation that it actually existed here. Very, very little detail as far as what happened down there. That far predated all of this. This was much, much more recent. Walking the mile. Okay, so it's in these cell blocks here on Spike Island where people have seen shadows. And we're not just talking about the inmates getting spooked. We're talking about the guards actually reporting this type of activity. Okay, looks like I'm walking along the water, but really what we're doing is entering the village. And there's a whole bunch of everybody. Okay, you know what? I've lost it. It's day 6. We're walking into Glanworth. This is actually the narrowest, still operational working bridge in all of Europe. We headed up there to the castle ruins, originally built in the 12th century. Been abandoned since the mid-17th century during the Confederate Wars. Cromwellians basically ousted the family from here. We'll actually see this in both of our castles for today. We have 3 locations though. Both castles had to be abandoned during those wars, both times by Cromwellian forces who invaded. So we're gonna head on up into the castle along this amazing freaking bridge, and there's all of everybody. Well, most of them. There's a couple up there, and yeah, we have Maria car. And that's a car going over the bridge. We all had to squish ourselves against the bridge. It's a pretty cool castle, built on the site of an ancient ring fort, which is really awesome.
Dining hall it was called as well. So many rooms were called many different things. I suppose it depends which day of the week it was. Now, this was used for breakfast, lunch, supper, every day food. And the Earl would have eaten here, and he would have eaten here with his knights and his soldiers. The top soldiers, sort of like the generals you have now.
That is the original color of the castle. It's known as the Black Castle. Alright, going up the hill, Grange Stone Circle. This is actually the largest stone circle in Ireland, so this is bigger than Drombeg. Now, another aspect of this that's kind of interesting to me is that this is an earthwork. This is an actual hinge, which a hinge is supposed to be earth. Or you can have a wood hinge, stone hinge, right? And basically it's built up circular structure. So we're standing on, okay, like Great Circle Earthworks in Newark, Ohio is built up like this in a giant circle just without the stones around it.
Yeah, that one kind of, it just hit me as I was walking along that embankment, that it's like, wait a second, this whole thing is built up. This is not just a stone circle like Drombeg. Drombeg's not a hinge. It's just a stone circle. You walk onto the field and the stones are sticking straight up. But Grange is actually a hinge. And Stonehenge is not, so go figure that. Technically. Excuse me. Now, again, tried the rods in the middle. And I do see some comments down here. Jen is saying she felt something on her thigh when she meditated, like a hand. And then, yeah, Ann is confirming the warm spots that were there on a cold, blustery day. But again, I did try the rods there. Did the exact same thing in the middle of Grange Stone Circle as it did at Drombeg, where it spun around for a moment and then boom, directly out to the side. So again, kind of telling me there that it found energy all around, swirling around. It had to kind of tune in. Where's it coming from? Boom, directly outside at the stones.
All right, here we are, Charleville Castle. This one I've really been looking forward to. A lot of interesting history here. It's actually not a medieval castle. They started construction here 1798, completed around 1814. But it looks like a medieval castle, right? Originally, the sites of there was a manor here in the 1650s.
It was built in 1798 to 1800. There's a quibble over when it actually started. And it was designed by the first Earl and Countess, Charles William Bury, and his Countess, Lady Catherine. Now, she drew most of the blueprints, and he signed quite a few of them. So she was the artist, and he was the genius behind the layout. So the castle is built to look like a toy box, which is from his childhood. He had a toy box with soldiers in it. So that's why it looks so square and like it's ready for war, but the castle has never really seen any type of war. There was a little bit of a skirmish in the 20s during the uprising in Ireland, but there was no owner in residence at the time, so it blew over. It was nothing to talk about. So the castle stays in the Bury family for 5 earls, but it's less than 100 years, and they all die quite sad and tragically. We have a lot of tragic deaths in the castle, probably the most famous of which is Harriet. Now, just to clear this up, this is not Harriet's staircase. Harriet's stairs is over this side of the castle, and when we get to there, I will tell you that story because it's our most famous. So these are just the entrance steps.
Huge doors, wow.
I get a lot of people who are like, oh, did you have it before Christian break? I was like, yes. Yes, we did. Well, weird stuff has gone on in here, so yeah. We are now in one of the towers that you would have seen from outside. You can come in, there's no problem. I know nobody ever stands in the middle, everyone gravitates to the edge. It's like, it's fine, you won't drop it. Yeah, you got a couple extra people. No, it's okay.
Yeah, the lake right there. I was just looking at it.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. Okay, I get to it. Okay. Yeah.
To the left. This is my office, it's the den.
So come on in, scooch in. And the governess decided she was going to send Lady Harriet upstairs to wash her hands before dinner. And Harriet was 7 going on 8 at the time. So she came out of the library, along the hallway and up the stairs. So Harriet was making her way back down. Again, she's unsupervised, and she decides that on the floor, not this one, but the one above it again, that she will slide down the remainder of the flight. And she falls at 15 feet to her death onto the flagstone floor there below. The governess, as you can imagine, heard the scream and the impact, I'm sure, and she came running out, and she picked her up and brought her into the library. So technically, I suppose she did pass away in the library.
So what did you determine the directions were?
East-west.
East-west. So one is pointing west, the other is pointing north.
These are dowsing rods. They're a little bit different to
Look at that. One does point back to the red room.
yeah, something like that.
And the other one's
Remember
south.
the pendulum? It went exactly the way you said it
Yeah.
would.
So from the red room, we had the one rod pointed back this way toward this tower. And the other one pointed to...
If you were to go direct now from the red room, it's there.
Yeah.
So that's where it's pointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from the red room, we had it pointing this way. Yeah.
Okay. So you think it cuts across the front of the castle?
Seems like it. Or at least these two towers are very well connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, and look how big it gets.
Oh, and it keeps going.
This is
Yeah.
why we had the problem with chandeliers.
Gotcha, because it would just start doing that.
Yeah.
So with the rods over there, they were pointing, one was pointing north, the other was pointing west, or
Okay.
here. From here, one was pointing east and the other south.
Wow.
So opposite directions.
Okay, guys.
Which,
Is what
if you get into a lot of ancient, esoteric type of research, when you talk about duality, yin and the yang,
Yeah.
so one would be the yin to the yang to the towers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're seeing duality built into the building, kind of all as above, so below. So two towers, they're built opposite of each other. Yeah, kind of cool that the rods are basically pointing at each other from each of the towers, but you can see the opposite energy within the construction. So in the one in the red room, it was to the west and to the north. And then from the other tower, it was to the east and to the south. So opposite alignments, with them both pointing at each other. And then Samantha, she was doing the pendulum there and showing that within the this room, the Mason's room, that it was going counterclockwise. In the red room, it spins clockwise. So again, kind of showing there that you have this opposite energies between the two towers. And another thing that she pointed out, okay, this is the original flooring. If you look down there in the entrance hall, and I'll throw it up here too, you see the black and white tile. So again, that symbolism of duality, mentioned the yin and the yang, or as above, so below. So it's built right there into the structure itself. And so I would love to do more at Charleville and investigate that some more for sure.
Headed toward Lep Castle, which is considered one of the most haunted, if not the most haunted castle in all of Ireland. Although I think Charleville, which we just came from, would give it a run for its money as far as the stories go. Dates back to the 13th century. Some also has conflict in the 15th century. You have the elemental that's supposed to be here, all the ghost stories of, and there it is. Absolutely beautiful.
And the turns are different. Trust me, I'm short.
Yeah.
So you only break a leg instead of dying.
Okay, up here in the what's known as the Bloody Chapel of Lep Castle. The reason why it is called the Bloody Chapel is this thing back here. The oubliette. And yeah, I better not fall out the window. So basically the oubliette, the original purpose of this was that if the castle was being raided, usually where some of the most valuable items were inside the chapel. You had your gold chalices, your gold crosses, and things like that. A lot of your religious items were the more valuable type of items. And so what you would do in the event of a raid is you would toss them in here, seal it up, and really it's almost kind of like a secret passage. However, the castle wasn't always being raided. It was like every once in a while thing that would happen. In the meantime, you're ruling your area, and sometimes it might be a nefarious person, or I don't know, maybe somebody you didn't like. And well, years ago, when they were excavating this thing, they found several skeletons. So this ended up being used as a murder hole rather than the traditional use of an oubliette.
Okay, so we're down here yesterday. I did a little video from it. Remember how I talked about the locks from Hilltown? So what we're doing today, so that was the locks from yesterday. Just kind of randomly came across it. We're actually headed down the canal path there, that direction, where there's actually a couple of castles. So we're going to take a look at those. It's the Canal Greenway. And along the Canal Greenway, we have Charleville Castle. I'll be honest, I know zero about it, but kind of one of the interesting things about Ireland is you can pretty much walk around, drive around anywhere. There's going to be a castle somewhere. One lady at DESMOND Castle told us that there are 30,000 castles in Ireland. Now, as long as you have a stone in the middle of a field that once was a piece of a castle, that counts as the actual castle. So at one point, if you count them all up in history that had been around here in Ireland, 30,000 in total. Just by happenstance, they blocked off the road for a moment for some cow crossing. Some of the cows went down the wrong side, and one guy's yelling at the other. That's awesome. Just don't step in a cow patty. Oh, look at that. That's cool. We got another castle up the road, got another lock. So the Grand Canal Way here basically connects Dublin to the west coast. And that was the idea, was to provide a way for the shipping to move goods back and forth from one part of the country to another, east to west. And you come across these nice cool stone bridges like this. And the guy's over there mowing the lawn. Like, right as we showed up, he started mowing the lawn. Here we go. There's the canal. Back to the east. Into the west. We have the castle, which we're going to go check out. Ah, yeah, I got the crows coming out of the window. Nice. All right, so this is that bridge which all the cows passed over earlier today. This is Charleville Bridge, which we are not too far from Charleville Castle at all. It's just over there, somewhere. And here we've come full circle back at the locks in Tullamore. It's a long walk all the way down there and back. I think it was 4 kilometers there. At the iconic Trinity College, sneaking a little video here right behind me, William Shakespeare. But if you are up on the conspiracy theory about William Shakespeare, that as an individual he did not necessarily exist, as an individual writer in any case, there was a William Shakespeare from Stratford-upon-Avon, but probably wasn't a writer. But any wonder, he is right next to Francis Bacon down here. They're bust right next to each other here. And Francis Bacon is one of those people that is believed to have actually been the writer of the Shakespeare works. One of the theories. There's a few of them. But kind of interesting that here, they're right next to each other. Thanks so much for watching the Ireland recap video here. You can watch the entire travel blog, which is several hours worth of footage, on the Connected Universe portal, connecteduniverseportal.com. In the member area, all of the footage, again, several hours worth, is out there. Check it out, as well as you got the Egypt travel blogs and weekly classes. So much material back there. But if you want all the Ireland stuff, connecteduniverseportal.com, member area. And hey, join us next year for the Stargates of Ancient Egypt tour. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'll put the links for all this stuff down below. Until next time, time really exists.